Hi everyone, my name's Lindsay and I'm a graduate assistant for the psychology participant pool here at SDSU. Now in this video I'll be going over a short introduction on how to participate in psychology research. So first things first, our contact information is sci101paper@gmail.com. Now this video and the resources available to you on the Blackboard page should answer all of your questions. If you have any remaining questions or have any technical difficulties, feel free to email us at this address. So as I mentioned, we do have a Blackboard section entitled Psych Participant Pool. Now when you log into Blackboard, you should see this on your home page as it's shown here. And what you can do is go ahead and click on that link, in which there are several sections with all the information you need on how to complete the research requirement. Now, if for some reason you log into Blackboard and you don't see this section, just go ahead and email us with your red ID and we can get that section added to your profile. Now, you may ask yourself, why have a research requirement? So please keep in mind that much of the data that researchers collect actually comes from students like you. Participation allows you to see how the scientific process takes place and to see how researchers design their studies. And if you'd like, the results of the research studies are available upon request by contacting the researcher. All right, now in terms of what's required of you, what you need to know is that every Psych 101 student must complete a total of 5 credits. Now, there's 3 ways that you can do this. First, you could complete 5 hours of research participation, or you could complete 2 article summaries worth 2.5 credits each, which I'll go over shortly, or you could do a combination of both. So you could complete 1 article summary and complete 2.5 hours of research participation. Now, one thing to note is that there is an age requirement. So you do actually have to be 18 years old in order to sign up for research studies. If you're not 18, you can obtain research credits by writing article summaries. So that's option 2. Now, if you're going to turn 18 during the semester, you do have the option to wait until that time to start participating in studies. However, I would be careful. Don't wait too long. 5 credits is a good chunk to complete, and you don't want to leave it to the last minute and not be able to finish. Now, if you're retaking the course because you didn't previously complete the requirement, you cannot count previously earned credits towards this semester. You do need to start from scratch. Also, if you're participating in research through a course other than Psych 101, participation is actually for extra credit and is not required. So you can go ahead and see your course syllabus for more information on that. All right, so to go further into the paper option. So as I mentioned, each article summary is worth 2.5 credits each. Now there's 2 sections to each article summary. There is the summary, which needs to be at least 500 words, and it needs to be in your own words, and basically a summary of what is discussed in the article. And then the second section is the critique and discussion, in which you'll talk about the significance of the research findings, how it's applicable, and this must be at least 350 words, and again, also must be in your own words. So the total word count that the paper needs to be is 750 words. You want to make sure to do a word count before you submit the paper to ensure that you meet this requirement. The 750 words will not include your name or the header or anything like that. It's the actual summary and critique and discussion section. Now, as far as where you can find articles to reference, you can choose from one of these 4 accepted journals. So you can choose from Psychological Science in the Public Interest, Current Directions in Psychological Science, American Psychologist, and Cerebrum. Now, when you turn in your article summary, you're going to turn it in through Blackboard through the Turn It In tool. And you can see the link for that here. So when you're submitting your first article summary, you can go ahead and submit it under article summary number 1, and then if you're going to do 2, submit the second one under article summary number 2. And there are step-by-step instructions on how to submit those summaries. So as I've said before, the reason that we have you submit via Turnitin is to prevent plagiarism. So Turnitin has some special tools to track plagiarism. So we really, really recommend that you avoid this. Put the paper in your own words. Do not overquote. Make sure that you cite your sources appropriately, because you will not get credit if there is plagiarism in your paper, and there are of course no exceptions to that. There is zero tolerance for plagiarism at SDSU. Also, we'll be sure to track word count very, very closely. There are no exceptions if you miss word count. There's no reason for you to miss that. So please make sure that you follow that closely in order to receive full credit for the paper. All right, so as we get started, first things first, you want to make sure that you update your email address in web portal, because the login information that we send to you will be to that email address that we have on file. Now, the system that we use for you to sign up and track your studies and track your credits is called Sona. The URL for Sona is right here, but you'll also be sent an email with this link and your login information. So how it's going to work is about 24 hours before the first day that the pre-screen survey information is available, and I'll go over what that is. Login information will be sent to you with the link to the Sona website. If you do not receive this login information, probably by the end of the week of the ad drop deadline, which is when the pre-screen becomes available, go ahead and reach out to us at that Sci 101 paper email address, so we can just make sure that you have a profile and get that information over to you. When you email us, if you email us, please make sure that you include your red ID and full name. Also, it's definitely important to make sure that your login information is not sent to your spam folder. So the email that you'll receive will be the sdsu-admin@sona-systems.net. So please just go ahead and configure your email to make sure that you're able to receive emails from that address. So after all that, if you do not receive an email containing your login information on the first day of the pre-screen, go ahead and reach out to us at sci101paper@gmail.com, and we'll make sure that you have an account. Now, as for accessing Sona, there's several ways to do that. So first, a link to Sona will be provided in the email with your login information. Also, there is a link on Blackboard, and Sona can also be accessed through the SDSU Psychology Department homepage. Now, here is what Sona looks like. So here's the login page. So once you receive your login information, you can come here and sign up, log in and sign up for research studies. If you've lost your login information for any reason, or at least if you've lost your password, you can go ahead and click the Forgot Password link. Your other option, of course, is to go ahead and email us, and we can get that information over to you. All right, now in terms of the pre-screen survey, I've mentioned this before, and what the pre-screen survey is a preliminary study that's offered to you right at the beginning of the semester. You will want to go ahead and look up dates in order to see when it's being offered, so when it comes up and when it is no longer offered. It's an online study through Sona, and it's basically available after the ad drop deadline has passed. And again, you'll want to look at Blackboard and Sona to see when it's taken off. So when you participate in the pre-screen survey, you will receive 1 hour of research credit. It is optional, but it's strongly encouraged. And the reason it's encouraged is because it actually makes you eligible for more selective studies that you might not be eligible for if you don't complete the pre-screen survey. All right, so now just to go over some key deadlines throughout the semester that you'll need to be aware of. So you'll want to check the deadlines for your specific semester on the research participation homepage on Blackboard. This information will also be available on the home screen, the login screen on Sona. So the first deadline for you to be aware of is the midterm extra credit deadline, which will be 5 p.m. on that day. Now, in order to receive extra credit for your class, you need to have completed 2.5 of the 5 credits, and you have to have no unexcused absences of any studies that you had signed up for in Sona throughout the semester up to that time. If you've completed both of these requirements, you will receive extra credit for your class. And then the final deadline to be aware of is by 5 p.m. Usually it's the last day of classes. You will need to have completed 5 of the 5 credits in order to receive credit for research participation. Now, it's really important to stress there are no exceptions to this. And you will want to make sure that you plan accordingly, that you manage your time accordingly to make sure that all 5 credits are completed by that deadline. So what happens if for one reason or another you are unable to complete the requirement by the final deadline? What will happen is, regardless of the letter grade that you receive in Psych 101, you'll receive an incomplete for the class. You will have 1 year after that to complete the requirement in order for the incomplete to be removed and for you to get your actual grade. If after that year you still do not complete the research requirement, the incomplete will turn into an F on your transcript. However, if you do complete the requirement, the incomplete will be removed and your actual grade will show. Now, if you are needing to make up the requirement the following semester, any credits that you earned in the semester that you actually took the class will not count, will not roll over, and you'll need to start from 0 when you complete your makeup requirement. Now, there is an exception to the way to this process. So if you are actually receiving a D or an F for the class, that grade will not be kept from you. You will not receive an incomplete. Even if you haven't completed the requirement, you will see that grade so that you're aware. All right, so just helpful hints for you on navigating through this process, through the semester. You want to check Sona regularly. You want to check Sona regularly to see what studies are available to you. You also want to check Sona to make sure that any studies that you've participated in, that credits are given to you accordingly. If for some reason they're not, it usually takes about 3 days, so if for some reason after that time credits have not been issued to you in Sona, just contact the researcher and make sure that they haven't forgotten you. Also, article summaries are graded twice per semester. So they're graded after the extra credit deadline has passed, and then they're also graded after the final deadline has passed. They cannot be reviewed for feedback or anything of that nature prior to any of these deadlines. If you're looking for that feedback, you'll want to go to the Writing Center at the library. Like has been said before, if you ever forget your password, you can use the link through Sona. Please try that first, otherwise you can always email us. And if you have any other questions, feel free to email us or go to the Blackboard page. And here are just some helpful links for you to remember: the Department of Psychology, the Sona Research Participation site, and once again, our email. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck.